Hello everyone, and welcome back to Age of Empires 4 2v2 team games. We are going to cast a game here. We've got a bit of a backlog of games that will be getting posted on YouTube shortly. Thumbnails and everything, it's all coming together. So let's jump into this one. Not sure in what order they'll all be posted, including this one, so looking forward to you all seeing this when you do. Anyhow, we are looking at 2v2 on Dry Arabia. Starting on Team 1, on the left side, in purple, we have Big Man John playing Jeanne d'Arc. It's going to be very powerful Civ in team games. She's already over there on the gold. On his team, in the pink, playing as the Ayyubids. That is the Abbasid variant, is going to be Simon. That House of Wisdom coming up on the back of the base. Gonna cover the gold and the berries here, very nice. On the other side, on Team 2, playing as England in the yellow is I Am Jeffrey. Already opening with a barracks, looking like we've got a man-at-arms here coming towards Simon's base. Let's introduce our player in the green first really quick. In playing as the Roos, we have Nugify, also on Team 2. Let's go take a look now at that man-at-arms coming into the Ayyubid's base, trying to shut down Simon's gold. Little track star, he's run across the whole map now. The marathon is almost done as he comes onto the gold line here. Got 3 villagers on gold. 4th coming up as you want, as Ayyubids. Get that tech when you get up. And boy, does Jean get such a fast age up as well, meanwhile, nearby. These gold villagers gonna have to dance a little bit of micro required to make sure that the man-at-arms does not delay the feudal age. Villagers at very low health gonna have to drop off their gold now. Do they have enough? Looks like they had just enough there. And Simon is going to be able to age up behind this as well. Nugify, meanwhile, gathering the deer. That is just going to go ahead and I Am Jeffrey going to burn down that mining camp. Big Man John and Simon gonna have to react to probably an English fast castle, I want to say, on the back, the men-at-arms aggression. Just trying to slow down the fast castle of the Ayyubids, it would seem. Such a powerful build, as we know. And they're just burning away here. Let's check out some landmarks as this continues. We have some hunting with the sheep as well. Nothing crazy, or with the scouts. Big Man John has, no surprise, gone into the School of Cavalry with Jeanne d'Arc. Knight's going to be coming out all ready to put on the pressure as early as possible. Simon going up with the military wing, a good call. Get that first unit out to defend those men-at-arms, get control of the gold again, and maybe even put some pressure or defense on to get the age up in time. England is going to be dropping a council hall. I Am Jeffrey dropping a council hall behind the men-at-arms aggression. This could go anywhere from here, right? He's still on 3 on gold, just gathering some wood and food. 4 on the age up. Pretty standard English age up here. I don't think we see anything. Yeah, nothing on the stone just yet. So probably going to be that standard sort of English harassment with a castle age behind it. Roos, meanwhile, has gone up with the Kremlin on the wood line and is going into a stable to get the knights out. Gonna put on some pressure with that and also defend the early Jean harassment that comes with this first knight who's on the way. What is this knight looking for? Looks like they're looking for English gold here. Already a preemptive tower coming up for I Am Jeffrey. One Ville down. Make it 2. Loses 2 Villes trying to build that tower. That's some good value there for Big Man John. No knight losses either. He's going to go ahead and burn the opposing tower. Get his enemy off the gold. Nice pressure here by Big Man John. The tower doesn't get a cancel, and it's gonna go down. That's 100 wood down the drain there for I Am Jeffrey. You might get it canceled at the last moment, but you lose quite a bit having taken the damage. Knight just hanging out now on the back of I Am Jeffrey's base. The council hall's out now. Little bit of an exciting opening as the men-at-arms try to put that pressure on the Ayyubids. They are back in town. No sacrifices necessary. Only a little bit of health taken off of one of them. Meanwhile, a knight coming into Nugify's base. The Kremlin and the militia, though, are going to cause lots of problems for Jean's knight here. Here is Jean herself. Oh, just a little bit of miss micro as the militia almost catch up to that knight. They are sprinting for their lives. I mean, their lives do kind of depend on it. That turnaround going to take a little bit of damage, but nothing crazy. Militia just chasing. Keeping Big Man John from doing anything crazy over here. Horseman and Desert Raider for Simon coming across. Are they going to skip on past? Nah. Just going to take out that militia. Scout going to go down to the horseman here. Yeah, that scout's done for. That's a Dunzo scout for I Am Jeffrey. Meanwhile, on the back, this knight trying to put some more pressure on the gold. Doesn't look like it gained too much there, but it did force some units out of I Am Jeffrey, who is scared of that knight, back towards his teammate's base. Nugify, meanwhile, getting up a second TC on the Rus. Not too surprising for the Rus on Dry Arabia, especially. Double stable, 1 barracks for all that cavalry that is already out on the field. Looking like Big Man John and Simon are going to try to put pressure on with the military wing and the early cavalry of Jean. Jean herself on the back of this as well. Going to try to sneak some XP in here. How did she do? She hasn't done a whole lot in terms of hunting or anything like that. Not a ton of boar to go around on this map, of course. A little bit of dancing going on. Knights coming up, but they're just not going to be able to put anything significant on this with the English Rus combo here. We got all 4 on screen trying to figure out what each other are up to. Just a little bit of minor harassment, I would say. No overcommitments coming from either team. No all-ins on the backs of these pushes either. Still a lot of units coming out for Big Man John, and still quite a few units, it would seem, coming out for Simon as well. Nugify, though, getting a bunch of food on the front of this. Gonna need that for knights, though, so kind of not totally clear. Oh, we got a lot going on here as the knights and the Ayyubids duking it out. If the Ayyubids swing in here, that's a lot of dangerous knight damage for... No, he's going to pull away from that. I guess he wants to pull the militia away from the fight, but I would have had him swing in here and kill the knights with me to get Joan that extra XP, I think. Here comes some spears and just the foot units of England, the usual combo. Spears, men-at-arms, longbow, just such a strong feudal combo. No reason not to go into it. Alright, let's take a look at the bases here as Simon looking, has the age up and has gone into the mosque to get the relics with the dervishes. First dervish coming out now. Gonna use this this speed out here to The militia going down over here. Gonna use the speed of the dervish and all these horse units on his team to get what he can, but there's spears coming out for Roos, and Big Man John charges straight into that spear mass. Gonna lose a knight for it. They braced just perfectly. Gonna take on, take down a bunch of those knights' health. And John on the run now. More knights on the back though, and Joan coming out with the knight mass. Single, well, double stable with the School of Cavalry, really. Almost basically triple. Jeanne d'Arc, the woman at arms, gonna get double teamed here. And Simon is out of position. Simon's way over here. Here comes pushing under the TC now. Big Man John's gonna have to fight this out and keep Phil's alive. He's off the wood. It's not gonna be easy here. A little bit of, looks like reinforcements getting picked up by Simon on the other side, but Big Man John doesn't have the army to fight this English mass, especially with all the spears from Roos and England here. He can't fight at fate like head to head. He needs archers. Or more knights. I suppose that's always the answer when you have Joan. Like, nope, not gonna interact. Going around opposite tree lines, probably don't even see each other. Close one though, with that hidden tree line. Gonna miss each other as Simon comes back. Looks like some scouts went down out here on the middle, but nothing crazy going on just yet. Almost a push from England to Roos. One villager went down in Big Man John's base, but nothing to write home about. Nothing to write home about? Oh my gosh. Anyway, nothing to write home about as we kind of just see these folks posturing towards each other. Tons of cavalry on the field. The Camel Lancer is out to deal with the enemy cavalry now as well. What a cool unit. What a great introduction to the game. Knights chasing down the Roos Knights now. Looking at that second TC. There's enough here to burn it down, I should think. Not going to bother. Not going to bother. Don't want to waste units under it. A little bit of a wooden fortress, forward wooden fortress with the split up Roos army. They can burn this down as well. But there's a big Roos army here. You got to be careful. Face the knights. Don't fight the spears. The spears go too far back. Big Man John's going to get a little bit of XP for Joan here. Oh, I say a little bit, but look at this fight as England is coming in from the side, trying to pincer this French mass in. Simon loses a lot in into those Roos spears there. He is Castle Age, so he'll be able to figure out the follow-up. It's a big mass coming out of Nugify and I Am Jeffrey. Really big mass. I mean, you have got 2 TC for Roos, so there's going to be a lot of units for as long as he's hanging out in Feudal Age. Joan going to use that ability to try to get a little bit of extra damage and XP, and is getting close to that that tier 3, that coveted tier 3 that every Joan player is looking for in Feudal Age. Play that long French feudal, but with a castle advantage. The knights and the spears duking it out. Joan gonna get even more XP here. Joan gonna be able to use this fight to level up, I think. Ooh. Nugify identifying the losses here, pulls back. And now Big Man John stuck between a rock and a hard place as the English come the other way. Gonna have to fall back. Picks off a little bit, that's smart. Turns around to just pick off what units he can. Get the Joan upgrade. And she's got her horse, everyone. Goes into the men-at-arms, I think. Yep, here comes the men-at-arms. Fight those spears. Jean's champion, rather. A little bit different than your men-at-arms, but covers, basically fulfills the same niche. Spears doing some damage to the knights, but Big Man John in a good position here. Gonna be able to push us back, but again, we got English. Kind Trying to sneak up on the back. We have a big feudal fight here between... Here comes the Castle Age player, too. Gulam's now on the field for Simon. Not too surprising, as we are about the 15-minute mark. You're even later than you might expect, but we have all the Camel Lancers out. Dervishes, who have grabbed a fair amount of relics. How many relics do we have? 3 in the mosque and 1 brought home and dropped off. All of the ones taken off the right side. 3 left on the other side of the map for the full 7. Let's see what's going on here. Grabbing all this food, Nugify, which is good for him. It's going to secure so much early food. Be able to use it looking toward a Castle Age. Big Man John a little bit behind on the Castle Age, but everybody kind of pulling back, macroing up. Nobody's making units just yet. But Big Man John actually taking a look and going to go into more knights. Never stop. The men-at-arms of Jean, with the champions, that is to say. Going after the Vills on the food. They're not going to be able to get back to those wooden fortresses, but England playing the ultimate teammate position here. Just every time it looks like that Big Man John wants to push into Roos's base, the English are there. A little bit of XP coming for those losses, though. This fighting is non-stop on this with all these cavalry. Classic team game shenanigans. Roos forced to fall back into their base as Nugify running a bit low on units here. The Spearman longbow picking away at the Gulams. The nice thing about this mass is, like, you've just got so much stuff, and the longbows have so much damage that men-at-arms in the end, I mean, it's not the perfect way to fight it, but you could just kite with these longbows forever. Or use this tough front line that England can produce. Second TC gets burned down by Big Man John and Simon, so Roos in a little bit of trouble. They should be ahead in the villager count. Let's take a look at military. Big Man John clearly has picked up most kills, but Simon and I Am Jeffrey kind of have balanced that out a bit. Big Man John being the big purveyor of damage to Nugify here. Let's look at the income per minute. Simon and I Am Jeffrey with tons of food. Big Man John also doing well on the food front. The Knights pushing into... Ooh, caught in by Nugify and I Am Jeffrey. This could be bad. You gotta be so careful with these Knight masses. You get in behind the enemy's base, especially in a 2v2 where you get caught here, you don't always know where that second army is, or if you do know, they could just kind of flip around and pincer you. Gonna fall back as everyone now is gonna be clicking up to Castle Age, and this game is getting exciting. I mean, it's exciting already, but it's the Castle Age all at the same time, except for the longer Castle Age for Simon, who has gotten, I think, a lot of that Castle Age tech. Maybe not as much as we think, at least not the military tech. Though, yeah, even the eco. Big Man John also up now. Mangonel, that's the England's worst nightmare at this stage in the game, only just getting up to Castle. They need to get their Springald out now, especially with that Manjanique. John can grab sacred sites in the Castle Age. And Nugify clicking up now as well. We have an interesting game ahead of us. Ultimately, I think England is a good matchup for both of these civs, Ayyubids and the Jeanne d'Arc. And that's a nice mango shot going in on both players. Fighting in this little choke point is going to be worse for Roos in England than it is for Big Man John, for the Ayyubids and Jeanne d'Arc. Nugify pulls back, but England wants that choke point with the spears. The Springald's out now. Gonna shut down the... Yep, 2 shots and it's gone. Come on, 1 more shot. There goes the Mangonel. It's gonna get 1 last shot off. Oh, the Springald was miscued. It had the wrong target, and there goes the Mangonel. That fight not gonna go in the favor of Simon and Big Man John. It's looking good for England and Roos here. Nugify and I Am Jeffrey pushing that back. And Simon and Big Man John are gonna have to go back to the drawing board here in terms of how they want to work this out. Big Man John macroing up a ton of food. Does he not have the production, or is he going for Imperial? No, here comes more production. Okay, he's banking up on that food, but it looks like it's gonna go into the Veteran Royal Knights here. With the upgrade now, this should be a little easier for him to do damage. Simon's army, a little eclectic, but it is all good units. I mean, you've got the Gulam, you've got the Camel, the Desert Raider, and the Camel Lancer. Kind of a standard combo at this stage. You don't need a ton of units as Ayubit at this point with these powerful but expensive units that they have. Joan poking and prodding. I still think they need archers. There's a lot of light units here for Nugify and I Am Jeffrey, and Big Man John and Simon don't have the counter. You can fight knight to knight, but get some archers for those spears and for those longbows and everything else. Man John's zoning out Nugify. No fighting in the middle. Just gonna try to stop this raid. A raid gonna be unsuccessful. Although, gotta be careful as Big Man John, desperate for gold, is gonna take this big, well, I say big, but it's a normal gold vein with, what is that? 33 bills. If you want to make that many knights, you gotta pay for it. Knight's trying to get on this food line, but looks like Simon and Big Man John kind of overcommitting for 3 knights here. I guess he knows this is out here, but he gets caught. Careful, careful. Oh my god. This is so bad. We have 33 now. Already 4 down, 5 down, 6. 7. Oh my gosh, it's getting worse. Here's some knights to protect this villager line. More villagers go down though. Did we lose? Oh my goodness. That's a lot of bills. 1 more goes down. Even. No, get him. Oh my gosh. So Big Man John down from 33 to 21 villagers on the gold, and they do not get away. 12 villagers lost in that raid. That hurts. Especially a player sitting on single TC without the guild hall. Gonna go for that Royal Institute to be able to face off with those Roos Castle Age Knights. And oh my gosh! Meanwhile, Simon is in a world of hurt as England goes in for a push themselves. Just trying to burn through some of this production. Gulam's gonna be the right fit here. Let's see how many crossbows are here for I Am Jeffrey. Only 14, and with the, let's see. How many Gulams? Let's see if we can grab from Simon's perspective. Okay, 20 Gulams. You've got the mass, which is in your favor, but there is a front line. Giving those crossbows some good damage, and Big Man John swings over after defending that raid. Well, after losing a lot of vills and cleaning up that raid. It's hard to look into all the build orders of all these players, but with team games, you can kind of see the normal deviations, the normal splits. Probably have a high trade house up here for Roos, with all the relics taken already anyways. And more than likely going to have, I think, King's Palace. Yeah, King's Palace here for England. 2 fights side by side here on the map. Big Man John pushing back Nugify, and that's going to open up the base or the back of the units of I Am Jeffrey. Mangonel. Can't quite get on the Mangonel, but Joan getting a ton of XP here. She already has her imp upgrade. Doesn't even matter. With the blast cannon. Went for the Valorous inspiration with the cannon. There drops the cannon, going for the Springolds. Look at the dead. Look at the dead. Oh my god, what's going on? Here comes Nugify. And you know what? Meanwhile, Big Man John and I am Jeffrey looking at Imperial. They're kind of toying with the idea of Imperial with their macro right now. Oh, Big Man John's not toying anymore. If Simon gets his keep up, yeah, he's going. He's going. Mangonel, double Mangonel with 4 Springolds. It's gonna be really hard to counter that siege mass. Nugify and I am Jeffrey gonna have to pull back here. Oh, no, you don't want to keep fighting under this keep, not without any siege either. Lots of the sort of team wooden walls you see, trying to cover up all the villager locations on this map. There are a lot of forward tree lines, not a ton of pocket tree lines, so these players, as this game drags on, are gonna have to fight for the wood lines, and Simon's keep here, gonna give I am Jeffrey some problems. He's gonna have to move towards his teammates' wood, and they're gonna run out pretty quick if they don't do anything about this keep. Do have a trebuchet deep in England's base. That's the problem. You can't dive these because you've got the English TC sitting. Oh, this is only a secondary TC. The main TC is over on the other side. Big Man John kind of seen that, but he doesn't have enough right now. Not with all these crossbowmen. Here comes the spears and knights for Roost. Crossbowmen as well. There's only armored units for Big Man John and Simon. I think they have too many armored units. Again, I think you need archers. I think you need something. Get that Joan attack speed upgrade, but it's too little too late, as this army for Simon and Big Man John is going to go down. Defender's advantage maybe a little bit here for I am Jeffrey as he pushes this back. And the triple trebuchet. Oh, Springold takes out a couple, but no more Springolds to take out the trebs. Last treb going to finish off the keep that has cut these two off the wood line. Man, we don't really have time to look at bases here. Although this gets cleaned up, let's see if we can sneak a quick peek. Maybe. A lot of gold here coming in for I am Jeffrey on the front side, but there's also still gold tucked behind those wooden walls. Big Man John under the keep. Gonna get a lot of vills in return for those that he lost. Ooh, wow. Wow, 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 wow. A lot going down to that little cheeky raid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like 12 villagers or something like that. Pretty akin to Big John's gold losses earlier. But keep in mind, the big difference between I am Jeffrey and Big Man John here is it's an English player with 2 TCs at least. 3 TCs with the King's Palace. He's gonna be fine with the farms and the food. None of these players gonna end up going towards Imperial now, as that fight on the front not going well. Oh, I take that back. I'm blind as a bat, chat or YouTube, as the Red Palace is going up here, and Jean is on the run. But this Red Palace gonna make the base of Team 1 a little bit defensible because of those Arbin placements. Remember, they haven't been changed since the big buff for them, so even TCs can still be strong, although you only have the 7 bills you can put inside. That being said, this game most certainly not over after that big fight. And I say that as Nugify coming in with quite the roost mass here. He's at Imperial Age. Knows that Big Man John wasn't sitting on a lot of units before it. Big Man John needing to get the Knight upgrade. Is it coming in? As he had the gold just... There it is, there it is. Elite Knights on the way. Elite French Knight's going to be a difficult... the Royal Knight's going to be a difficult thing for Castle Age Roost Knights, but Spear Crossbow should be able to do a fair amount here. Arbaletier emplacement in the TC, though. You can see the Arbaletier shots just blasting out of this thing. Here comes Simon to help out. A little bit of a raid, it looks like, on the other side, meanwhile. This is going to get cleaned up, I think, by all these cavalry, despite the spear crossbow combo. It's a painful cleanup. Not easy. I am Jeffrey clicking up to Imperial Age now as well. Let's see what's going on here. A little bit of a fight. A lot of fills for Simon, who built that keep going down. What's going on back here? Simon building towers. Looking like, with the goal to keep any trade shut down. Joan tried to get in on the other side as well, but the Rus Knight's going to clean that up. Lots of clicking around there as the Rus is forced to fall back. But the Berkshire is coming up on Simon's base. This is a problem. Look at all that siege. Trebuchets and Mangonels, and with Imperial Age, you can get those English Treb upgrades if you want. Berkshire gonna have range. Wait, where does that range to? I mean, it's 15 tiles, right? So it's gonna be pretty crazy. There it is on these bills already. The army is even in range. We lose a Springald trying to move out. Simon has good resource count, though. Everyone hitting Imperial now. Let's see what Simon has gone up with. It's like the Gamba... No, not the Gamba Wing. The Atabegs coming for the trade post. Culture Wing for the Castle Age and Military Wing for the Feudal. I'm curious to see these Atabegs in action. Where is he going to consider them most valuable? Comes England. Got Berkshire on the front here, gonna cause so many problems. And Mangonels with all these guns. We got a bombard that should be able to help with the Mangonels. How many Springalds? Only 2. He does have sort of that 2 Springald, 2 Mangonel combo with the heavier siege for buildings on the back. A little bit of siege action here. We're gonna take a look, take a little peek at what's going on between Big Man John and Nugify. Nugify gets those elite upgrades in, and the middle of the map has been secured by Nugify and I Am Jeffrey, and this is not looking too good for Big Man John and Simon here. They weren't able to stop any trade, it looks like, on the backside, though it doesn't look like the trade has really come out either. Here comes the push. Nope. A little bit of dancing. Big Man John, instead of worrying about that Rus army outside his base, pushing out with his knights and with Joan. Are we gonna see Joan's champions anywhere? It doesn't really look like it. Oh my gosh. Simon getting on the siege. I mean, Joan getting on the siege as Big Man John. And Simon coming up from behind with this massive anti-armor units. There goes England's push. But on the other side, Rus is inside Big Man John's base now. The walls don't get up in time. And this is Streltsy Spear with those Rus fully upgraded knights, the +6 with that big ol' axe that they get. Big Man John and Simon rushing back to save what they can, but Big Man John is going to lose a lot of resources here. Look at the income dropping. No, manages to keep it alive, but let's see it. No more trade as the Rus dive the trade of Simon and Big Man John. That's going to cause some big problems down the line here as we get this long Imperial 2v2. Cleaning up these raids is going to be key for the rest of the game. Looking like Simon helping Big Man John out with some resources, sending 2,000 wood. And this is going to get cleaned up, but at what cost? At what cost? Big Man John loses farm bills. Oh no, look at that income per minute drop like a rock for Big Man John. Keeping these knights alive while you recover is going to be key. He does have a lot of trade. The trade doesn't update very appropriately on that thing for the gold count. So just assume there's a lot more up here, but the food is going to be a significant problem for Big Man John. He does have some banked up, so make a few knights if he needs to. Wow. England has those Imperial upgrades as well now. Elite men-at-arms, elite spears, handgunners. The Berkshire coming back up is going to be able to provide the network of citadels here to the units. Currently not sitting with it, but Treb's on the way just to put more pressure on Simon's front line. Simon has actually lost his relics, and that's going to hurt his gold income, that passive gold income. He had a ton of relics providing gold for him early on here in the game. You get on this. You get on this. You don't really have much of a choice here, but you've got to be careful with these knights. You only have so many of. Gold count low while the trade is getting set back up. And here comes Roos. Here comes Roos. They take out some bills looking for a tower. Streltsy, knight, spear. Berkshire going back down. It's not going to fully come up, so no arrows shot out of it. They want to take this fight. It looks like Simon with a good mass, but he's going to have to face two very heavily inundated factions here. And Big Man John doesn't have a ton of gold. Mangonel, gotta hit those Streltsy. Here it comes. Good dodge. Nugify sees it, does the forward and back. Does it again. No, gonna take some damage on that flank, but no Streltsy going down just yet from that. Okay, Big Mango hits. It is a thin line of Streltsy. That's going to be nice here for the team. And it's just Simon fighting the two, though. They don't have enough, it looks like, just yet to beat this. But they are going to be relentless, it looks like, as I am Jeffrey doing that English men-at-arms printer. Men-at-arms spears coming out non-stop now. Look at all that food. English base going to just be covered in farms here. Hey, look at that. Look at that. Enclosures. Oh, everything. Would not want to be against I Am Jeffrey right now, let me tell you. Bombards and the French cannon coming out now. Do they want to push? I don't think you want to push yet. I think you need Big Man John here. But Big Man John, meanwhile, the Red Palace going down to Rams and more. Streltsy, Spear, Knight, the Boyars coming in to take their vengeance for that fight on the other side. And these Roos Rams, they've got the health, they've got the upgrades, they've got the armor. They are going to be relentless now. No stone walls up either, so they're going to go straight on to the production. A lot of bills here and a cannon. Big Man John just going to fall back and try to destroy those. So he's going to clean up those Rams, but they're going to get a little bit of damage in before then. Simon streaming into a big mass of Streltsy and English troops here. So many handguns. Look at all that gunpowder. Oh no. That's so many gunpowder and crossbow units. How many Streltsy are here? 17 Streltsy, about 17 handgunners as well. Looking at, what, 34 gunpowder units. That's not easy to defend against as they come in. Big Man John also fighting over here, so Nugify has split his army in two, and it is working. These 2v2s, if you can raid the weaker player as he's doing now, Big Man John low on food now, actually. That bank is starting to dry up. Although it's all getting turned into knights, so Big Man John gonna hold on as long as he can here. Stop the Rams, stop the Roos. But what happens to Simon? Meanwhile, these are these late team games. How long do you hang on? Can you wait for your teammate? We've all been here in these 2v2s. Here comes Big Man John now. If he can, they can't really clear out all these handgunners with all these armored heavy units. Watch this. They're gonna one-shot each knight as they go. A little bit of overkill, but they're gonna, oh my god, mowing down 2 at a time. Big Man John's army just erased by the 21 handguns of I Am Jeffrey with crossbow spear support. Oh, and Big Man John gets pincered in as Roos comes in as well with more Streltsy, more spears. The Streltsy spear ram combo, the thing that makes late game Roos so strong. You have late game England, late game Roos. How do you hold this? How do you hold this? I don't think you do. Big Man John and Simon are forced back to Simon's TC. It's not going to be enough here. How much can they build? They have a lot of food banked up, but the wood and the gold, those are the things that start to really hurt in these late games if you cannot secure it. Gold here coming in for Simon, but nah, he says, they're on the trade, it's too late. And that is going to be GG. Well played by all players here. We have Conqueror 3 team games. Good job, Nugify and I Am Jeffrey. Well played game. Nice late game choices here. Just survive until you can get that mask, get that Streltsy, spear, English foot combo, and everything will be all right. Thanks all for being here. Thanks, YouTube. Like and subscribe. I appreciate your support, and I will talk to you later.